Well, it's that time of the week again. Time to review another Star Wars movie. Hooray! Another Star Wars movie. Hey guys, it's Dash Show Rose here back. I am back to review more Star Wars. Yes, we are now reviewing another Star Wars movie. And I gotta say, so far our journey's been alright. I mean, the prequels had their problems, but they were still pretty good. Now we're moving on to not the prequels per se, but the movies, the backstory movies, the movies that have backstories. Now, technically, you could probably call Solo and Rogue One, prequels too, because they take place before they take place before the episode 6, episode 6, episode 4, A New Hope. But I prefer to refer to these movies as movies that are called backstory movies, meaning they focus on the character, like one particular character or one particular thing, and like a certain topic, but they don't really go into they don't show it off too much. So they don't make multiple different films to it. That's what I meant to say. So anywho, before I get any further, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. If you guys don't subscribe to my channel, Han Solo will come and shoot you guys. Yes, my boy Han Solo will come and shoot you guys. That's a bit dark. That is a bit dark. I did go a little bit far there, but it's a little joke, So you guys know I do make jokes about that. But yeah, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, so you guys know. Anywho, let's go ahead and get started. So this is actually the first Star Wars movie I am reviewing that is actually made by Disney. Now, on the list, that is. It is the first movie that is made by Disney that's on the list. This is not the first movie Disney made. They made a Rebels movie, like for Star Wars Rebels. They also made The Force Awakens and stuff. So this is not Disney's first Star Wars movie, but it is the first one on the list because I'm going in order by stories. And since this takes place before the sequels do, that's why I'm reviewing this one. And this also takes place before it takes place before Rogue One. That's why I'm reviewing this. And this is also the first movie that I'm watching. I'm completely blind with. Like, I have not seen this film at all. I've never seen this film. I've seen people talk about it, and I heard a lot of people like it, but I have not seen it. I have not seen this movie. The only thing I know about this movie when I was going into it is, first, so Han Solo is played by a different actor, because, the real Han Solo guy is, like, 70 years old. Well, he's now, like, 80, but when this film came out, he was still in his 70s, so he was pretty old, and they didn't really CGI him for some reason, like they did with, Rogue One and stuff, so they had a different guy play him. And then, we also have a Darth Maul scene in this movie, too, which we'll get to in a second. We'll get to both of those in a second. That's the only two things I knew about this movie. So, the fact that, the fact that, I didn't know anything about this going in this movie, it was actually a pretty interesting journey. And I gotta say, this film starts off kind of slow. It does start off a bit slow. It does. That's the thing with origin stories and stuff like that, or movies that are telling beginning stories, like beginning of the stories. Usually they that's how it is with a lot of first movie films and stuff too. They have that problem where a lot of them are trying to tell stories and try to introduced us to all these characters, and because this is a prequel to showing off the Han Solo story. It's a prequel slash movie. It's a prequel slash like individual film. I told you guys I don't really call these prequels, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, they basically they introduce us to all these characters, so it's a little bit sloppy at times, especially because it's a prequel. They're trying to find ways to kill off some of these characters and stuff they introduce us to, and they are kind of pathetic at times. They are pathetic, there's this one scene where they're these two characters. We barely get to know them. All we know is they're jackasses. They kind of are jackasses. They treat Han Solo kind of like crap. But they both end up getting killed, and one blows up the bridge with her in the same spot. And I'm why couldn't she blow up the bridge and when she away from her, that she could have just blown up the bridge instead of blowing herself up with it. She could have easily just walked away from it, but I don't really know. It's just kind of stupid the way her death was, and we don't really get to know much. We don't know much about them. That's the problem. We really don't. We don't know much about them. Their deaths are so quick in the movie because they're building up the stories. It's kind of pathetic. But then we get to probably the best part of the movie. Well, the movie in general, the whole movie. This is not just one part. This is the whole movie. The fact they set Han up. They set up his plot of him meeting Chewie, getting the Millennium Falcon. We get introduced to that, and we get introduced to him meeting Lando. So we get to meet so many characters in this movie we see in the original trilogy, and I really like that. They do a great job. They do a great job, showing off off them. My only really complaint is with Chewie is I feel like it's kind of random. He found him down in a pit with him. He just found him down there. Consider he was last seen with Yoda, fighting off the clone troopers and stuff, and they turned against the Jedi. That's the last time we saw him, so it's kind of funny we see him just there out of nowhere. But I do think it works. I think it's okay the way they handled that, and I think the rest of it is definitely really good too. I do like the way we see him. All the characters are pretty much likable, except for the two at the beginning, but they both get killed off pretty fast, so there's not really much to care about them. I mean, their deaths are you're supposed to feel bad for them, but they're kind of just assholes, so you don't feel bad for them. And even though they also all work as villains. Yes, Han Solo is a villain in this movie. He's a villain. They betray him as a villain. But they betray him as a villain and all that. But you still gotta feel bad for their deaths because we see in the prequels, we see how the Emperor just tricks people like that and uses them for his personal games. So it makes sense, why we would feel bad for some of these characters. I felt bad when Anakin slaughtered, these Rice Gangar and the other separatists. I felt bad because they were tricked by Palpatine and all that. They were promised peace and they didn't get peace. So, I kind of felt bad for them. So, yeah, clearly, you kind of feel bad for these characters, kind of don't. So, but I do like them. It's not like Lightyear where these freaking side characters are freaking annoying. And yeah, they also get killed off fast. But we feel like we still get more of a personal, we get a good personal, experience with some of these characters. And instead of just having them barely on screen, they build the story up to their deaths. Even though they're a little too quick, we do get introduced to new characters too. Yeah, we do that too. We finally get to meet up with Han Solo's girlfriend. He has a girlfriend in this movie who actually he loves a lot. And we get introduced to this droid too, who's really funny. She's actually pretty funny. She's kind of a bitch, but she's very funny at the same time. I really like her. She's like C-3PO. She's like a bitch, but, you know, she's a lot more funny than C-3PO, which I like. There's actually jokes in this movie I do like. I don't remember all of them on top of my head, but I do remember some of them being pretty funny. So we get some interesting, you know, moments in this movie. And the characters, unlike Lightyear, are actually freaking likable. And they're not annoying. Like, they do make, you know, the droid a bitch. But they make her actually funny, not like, you know, completely unlikable. Like, she's just grumpy. But she does have her funny moments. Like, when she's with Han Solo's, you know, girlfriend. And you know, and she's basically pointing out how they love each other, but, you know, she doesn't want to admit it, and I like the way she points that out. It's pretty funny. But yeah, this movie is basically it's basically Lightyear, but what Lightyear should have been. Or actually, even Lightyear itself on Pixar, I think should have just been an origin story, like Han Solo. Yeah, it should have been an origin story telling how Buzz Lightyear ended up with Star Command, instead of just making a completely different movie that has nothing to do with Star Command at all. That's what this movie does. It still feels like Star Wars. It still feels like Star Wars. It's showing how, instead of making a completely different movie, it's nothing to do with the story of Star Wars, actually build it up very well, and I like that. Yeah, like I said, this movie is basically what Lightyear should have been, and I really do like it. I especially like the locations. The locations are really good too. Where Lightyear was just took place on one planet throughout the entire movie and didn't go to different planets like Buzz Lightyear Star Command. This movie, they go to different planets. They go to different planets, and I really do like it. I do really like it a lot, and it's pretty good. It really is. And the thing is, though, another thing I actually like too, what they do in this movie is you know, they have pretty good villains. Yeah, the villains are pretty good in this movie too. Now, they're not on screen too long, because again, technically all the characters in this movie are bad guys. They are bad guys, but they're not like evil. We got the other characters who are threatening, you know, them to do stuff. So we get the evil guys. But I gotta say though, it's pretty good. Like, the villains are definitely really good in this movie. So there's a lot of things I really like about this movie. There's a lot of things. This movie is it's fun. It's really fun, and it's really good. I really like it. I don't know if I really have much else to really say about it, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and give this movie a score. Then we gotta talk about the other stuff too, but we'll do that in a second. So, I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a good, and this movie is getting 120 points. That's right. This movie is good, really good. This movie actually might even be better than Revenge of the Sith, and that movie was really good too. Now, I think the Revenge of the Sith has better action sequences, but this movie, I think, tells a much better story than Revenge of the Sith does. It tells a much better story. Revenge of the Sith is just wrapping up the prequels and all that, and it does a really good job there. This movie, though, has, I think, a better story. It's more funny, like, it's supposed to be more goofy, and I really do like that. And also, there's a lot of cuss words in this movie, too. They have a lot of cuss words. They're not like the F-bomb or the or shit or something, but they're definitely like, there's like damn and hell and all that, and something the prequel movies don't have, which is very odd. I'm not sure why the prequel movies don't have that, because even the original trilogy, they have curse words in them, but I do remember that from the original trilogy, but I don't know. But this film is definitely really good. It really is very good. Now let's talk about some of the stuff I should talk about in this movie. There is some people might have a problem with this. a couple of these problems actually, but one problem is Han Solo is in this movie. He's obviously the movie's called Solo, but they have a different guy playing him, and they don't CGI the other actor in there like they do in the Rogue One, because Rogue One actually came out before this movie did. It came out before, but because this movie takes place before that movie, that's why I'm reviewing this one first. But yeah, so basically though, that's what happened there. So they have they've got basically they got that, and I gotta say I don't really mind it. I think that way that he still looks like Solo. He still looks like Solo. I think it works really well. Plus, it's a way to give because when you keep CGI characters in movies and stuff, then it's a problem, because when you CGI characters, then we can't have actors playing them, and it sucks. So I like how they actually still have actors like they still have Solo in the movie playing Solo. Now, I'm not sure if Chewie is... Well, Chewie might... I think is CGI, and Chewie's an alien, but I'm not sure if they just have voice clips for Chewie or not, because I think the voice actor for Chewie passed away. I don't remember if he passed away before this movie or after this movie, but I know he passed away, so... I don't know if he's actually voicing him in this movie or someone else is voicing him, like a computer or something. I don't know, but I do know that they kind of did that, and they're starting to do that now, where they're starting to they're basically replacing actors with computers, and that's bad, because then actors can't experience this stuff. Now, sometimes I'm fine with them, bringing back actors, because some of them, pass away, like Adam West. He passed away, and sometimes people may want to use, computers to bring him back as best as they can. That's fine. But then they got, they got like saying voice actors and stuff. They're just trying to use computers now, and it just sucks. Because again, it's fine if you're trying to, bring a celebrity in or something for that passed away decades ago or something like that, But when you're trying to just replace a main character voice actor or something, or post someone's head on something, then that's a problem. So I really don't like when they do that. I really don't. So it kind of sucks. But I do like how they actually have an actual person, a different person playing Han here, and I'm fine with that. It may bother some people, but it doesn't bother me. I think he still looks like Han. He does a pretty good job, and the one thing that people might be down with, and kind of me, kind of not, is he doesn't really act like Han Solo. He acts so sweet in this movie. Han is kind of a jackass, I think. I haven't seen the original trilogy in a while, but I do remember him kind of being a stuck-up asshole. So seeing him kind of this nice guy doesn't feel like Han Solo, but I might take that back if I see the original trilogy, because he might be too much of a jackass at times. So I don't know. But we'll have to see when the movies come out. We'll have to see. Well, when I watch them. Sorry, they already came out. They've been out they've been out for decades now. But I don't know. But we'll have to see here what happens. We'll have to see. But also, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is that Darth Maul is back. In one scene. They reveal him in one scene. This is what I told you guys. I knew he was in the movie because I saw someone show a clip off. That's all that stuck out in my head. Because I've seen a review in the past of this movie, but that was it. That's all I remember. And that was a long time ago. I haven't seen any reviews of these movies in a while, because honestly, at this point, they're kind of just, people kind of say the same things. I kind of just am like, I'm probably good, But yeah, Darth Maul is in this movie, and some people might be upset about that. They might be upset that he's in this movie, because, Darth Maul is, they may be using him too much, because they used him in the Clone Wars and all that too, and they used him in Rebels. Yes, Darth Maul was in Rebels. But here's the thing, is Darth Maul is not dead yet. Yes, in Rebels he gets killed, and I better not go into too much details, but the way he dies, he does speak, and it's very sad, but the way they kill him, the way he gets defeated is so pathetic. I've seen it, it's so pathetic. I have not seen all Rebels. I'm going to be reviewing that show down the road too. I will be reviewing that show. But I gotta say, yeah, his death was pathetic. It was so pathetic. Now, not the way he was speaking. Like, he had very good dialogue when he was dying, but the way he got defeated by a Jedi, because there are Jedis in that show. It was so pathetic. But I don't know. I don't know if this film takes place before that or not. So I don't know. I just don't think. I don't know if you would consider Star Wars Rebels even canon anymore. I don't know. I don't know if it's even canon anymore. I feel like that's one of the shows that's kind of just gotten lost in time with Star Wars. It's just lost in time. They did make a movie about it. See, just like Buzz Lightyear, they made a movie about it, then they made a show. So, we're not talking about the crappy, 2022 Buzz Lightyear. We're talking about the, original one. But, you know what I'm saying. They basically made a movie, then they made a show. So I will be reviewing that, but that's gonna be a little while because I have to get the show on DVD. I could probably watch it on Disney Plus. I watched this on Disney Plus, but I'm probably gonna get it on DVD because that way I can see maybe the old Disney Channel logo and all that if it's still there. That'd be kind of cool because Disney Channel's logo has changed. It's all simplified now, but I don't know. But yeah, overall, this film is definitely really good. And yeah, I know some people might not be happy Darth Maul's in there, but I think it works. I think it's good. And it was a great twist. It wasn't a stupid twist that was rushed too fast. It was perfectly set up. And I'm just surprised it was at the end of the movie. And it reveals that Han Solo's crush is actually working with him. And I think they reveal she might be a Sith too, so I don't know. We'll have to see there. But watch it. We can't see it because guess what? This is a fun fact. There was supposed to be actually a sequel to this movie. Yes, there was. There was supposed to be a sequel to this movie, but guess what? We never got it. We never got a sequel to this movie. We were supposed to, but due to some drama behind the scenes that I don't really want to go into too much detail about, there was no sequel. And that's what happened to a lot of shows and stuff. Not just in Star Wars, but like people can blame Kathleen Kennedy all they want, but I know Kathleen Kennedy kind of sucks, but it's not just Star Wars they had this problem with. Even like Ice Age, Adventures of Buck Wild, that was supposed to be a show, but they turned it into a movie. They turned it into a movie, which kind of sucked, and so we basically never got the show and all that. So basically, technically that show was actually in development even before Disney bought Fox. But you know what I'm saying? They've been doing this with all their properties. They're talking about making movies, and then they well, I guess it's not all their properties. I don't think they're doing that with Pixar yet, but they're doing it with a lot of their properties. They're basically they're announcing movies, and then they turn around and change it to shows at the last minute. That's probably why a lot of these shows are probably sucking. It's because of that. That's probably why they're sucking. But I don't know. I don't know if they're doing that with Marvel too or not. But yeah, they've done it with Star Wars. They've done it with like Ice Age. And they're doing it with a lot of their properties, and that's probably why they're sucking, because they're changing up the stories, which are probably already good, and then they also, are doing it at the last minute, giving hardly anyone any time to do anything. But yeah, there was supposed to be a sequel to this. That's what this was building up to. That's why at the end of the movie, we don't see Han Solo. We don't see Han Solo. Happening to show up at the same place Luke and Obi-Wan were at. Because it was a last minute, because there was supposed to be a sequel. That's why we saw Darth Maul. There was supposed to be a sequel to this movie, but there never was. Now, they probably would have just killed Darth Maul off probably on this movie, but would have made no sense because, again, he died in Star Wars Rebels, but, I don't really know. But it would have still been nice to see more of Darth Maul. We'll just say that. It sucks. But again, as long as Star Wars is under Disney, I don't know what's going to happen. But I can't really say anything until I see the sequel trilogy. But right now, I am definitely disappointed about that. And this movie was really good. So, I don't know. But, I have heard bad things about the sequel trilogy. I have. And I haven't really seen them. All I saw was the Last Jedi. That's all I saw. And that was years ago. And I remember not really caring for that movie too much. But I remember questioning a lot of things, but I'll have to rewatch it and tell you guys my thoughts on it. But I've heard people actually like this film, but due to it not doing well in the box office because of The Last Jedi, that's why this movie is doing very bad. That's why this movie it didn't do well in the box office. It didn't do awful, but it didn't make the money they were hoping for. So that could be why they didn't make a sequel to it. But again, they've been turning all their films into freaking TV shows, so I don't really know anymore. Like, there was supposed to be an Obi-Wan movie, there was supposed to be a Ahsoka movie, and there was supposed to be a Boba Fett movie, but again, all got turned into TV shows. Yet Ahsoka's next. It's turning into a TV show. So I don't know, but I really don't know. We'll just have to see, what the sequel trilogy is about. But I'm just sad it was never made. But we can't really do anything about it now. But we can only, go off this movie. But at least we have this movie to watch, so that's good. Yeah, I had to watch this on Disney Plus too because I don't have it on DVD. Surprisingly, my dad didn't buy this on DVD, which I'm surprised because this movie is really good. But yes, he has the other movies on DVD, so I'll be watching them on DVD. But anywho, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here. I'll see you guys all next time in my reviews. And remember, guys, stay safe, and see you guys all next time. Dasho Rose out. Also, guys, if you guys are interested in reviews, check out my other reviews on Pixar, Illumination, and other movies. I do a lot of other movies on my playlist, so check those out. And anywho, bye-bye.